Today we're going to talk about the basics of color theory. We're going to learn not only how to mix colors, but how to use them effectively. If you start with these three colors, these primary colors, you can make all other colors on the color wheel. The primary colors are red, yellow, and blue. By mixing two primary colors together, you get the secondary colors. Red and yellow make orange, blue and yellow make green, and blue and red make violet. These are the secondary colors, orange, green, and violet. The next colors are tertiary or intermediate colors created by mixing primary and secondary colors. They are red-orange, yellow-orange, yellow-green, blue-green, blue-violet, and finally red-violet. And by now we have all the colors on the color wheel, a complete color wheel. Another word for color is the hue. It's an interchangeable word with color. If you want to change the darkness or the lightness of a color, you're talking about the value of the color. Now, to make a color lighter, you would add white, and you would be tinting that color. If you want to make it darker, you would add black, and you would be shading that color. If you want to change the tone of a color, you add gray to it. And when you're talking about the intensity or a purity of a color, you're talking about its saturation. Now that we understand how artists mix colors and change colors, let's talk about how they use them together effectively. When artists talk about a color's temperature, they're talking about whether or not they're cool or warm colors. Cool colors are blues, violets, and greens associated with peacefulness, sometimes sadness, or warm colors of reds, oranges, and yellows that are often associated with happiness, excitement, or even anger. Artists also uses blues or cool colors in the background to make the warm colors stand out and create a focal point. Color schemes are ways that artists uses colors together to make them more interesting. A neutral color scheme is when an artist uses browns, blacks, whites, and grays. Monochromatic color scheme is when an artist uses only one color to create an artwork. Different values, different tones, but one color. Complementary color schemes is when an artist uses two colors opposite of one another on the color wheel, like red and green, blue and orange, and yellow and violet. There are other complementary color schemes as well, like red, violet, and yellow, green, but these are the three most common complementary color schemes. And you see, when you put two complementary colors together, they make one another really stand out from each other and create wonderful contrast and a beautiful artwork. The next color scheme that we're going to talk about is a split-complementary color scheme. It's when you start with one color and find its complement, but then use the two colors on either side of it. Instead of red and green, you would use red and yellow-green and blue-green. Instead of blue and orange, you would use blue and red, orange, and yellow, orange. Instead of using violet and yellow, you would use violet and yellow, green, and yellow, orange. The next color scheme is the triadic color scheme. It's three colors that are evenly spaced on the color wheel. The most common triadic color schemes are the primary triadic here of red, yellow, and blue, and the secondary triadic of violet, green, and orange. The analogous color scheme is when you use three or more colors that sit next to one another on the color wheel and share a color in common. For instance, the yellows here, you have yellow, yellow-green, green, and yellow-orange. All these colors have yellow in them. Here you have green, blue-green, blue, and yellow-green. All of these colors have blue in them. Now we have tetradic color schemes, and it's composed of two sets of complementary colors. This example uses red, orange, and blue-green, and violet and yellow. You could change the value or the tone. Again, to recap the color schemes, we have complementary, monochromatic, neutral, split-complementary, triadic, analogous, and tetradic. This is a lot to take in, But the more you practice using these color schemes, the more control you will have over the color in your artwork.